Hello and welcome. Today we're gonna be playing with some Hog Cycle in Ultimate Champion. It's gonna be a second upload today because yesterday I kinda slacked off, so I'm gonna kinda compensate you guys for that by uploading twice today to kinda make up for the slight mistake from yesterday. My opponent probably will click the ability because it's gonna actually dash. Yeah, there we go. And we're gonna be playing with the new Mighty Miner. Some people say it's improved, but for this particular deck I think it's gonna be mostly a nerf because obviously the Mighty Miner's main role in the Hog cycle was to bring the cost of the cycle down to 3 cards. And my opponent already tries to predict my skeletons, which is very smart of him. I'm gonna try to tank the Firecracker for one more shot, and I think this baby dragon will be down. Very nice. Obviously, in the first game we're gonna be already expecting some kind of Egiant play. My opponent already showed the Goblin Cage, showed the Golden Knight, Baby Dragon, Tornado. It's pretty obvious at this point that it's gonna be indeed this matchup. I'm gonna play the Hog Rider on the opposite side. And right now, I'm gonna try to bait out the so-called DD Cage. A lot of people like to call it that, and I'm gonna actually, okay. The Golden Knight will actually be played very precisely by him, kinda escaping my skeletons. I wasn't thinking that he's gonna go for such a greedy Golden Knight, but he did. And it is okay. This play is pretty much about the prediction, and unfortunately I didn't get a good read on it. I'm gonna play the cannon right here, trying to kinda get something done against the bowler. Okay, actually I'm not gonna get it done against the bowler, so it pretty much sucks. I'm gonna have to play the Mighty Miner, and I am unfortunately gonna be down a bit of damage. My opponent gets a very good Evo Bomber, and he played a Tornado to kind of prevent me from killing everything with one bomb, so huge kudos to my opponent. Obviously not too good of a gameplay for me, but we'll kinda have to come back into this matchup. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner to kinda protect my Firecracker. I'm gonna play the Skeletons to kinda prevent his Golden Knight from going in, but he is gonna get a very nice dash anyway, so I would say pretty sucks. I'm gonna play the Cannon here, even though it's a mistake, because technically right now he can go for Egiant. I don't think I could have taken this damage. Right now we're gonna go for the Hog Rider. The Ice Spirit will get a direct hit, so that's gonna be pretty nice. I would love to get a Hog hit, and I do, so that's gonna be a very fun hit. We're gonna get a Firecracker pretty much against the against his Egiant. I'm gonna play right now a Mighty Miner to the outside. My opponent skips for some reason. I mean, this Egiant skips the cannon for whatever. Yeah, right now we're in a pretty, I would say, bad scenario. I'm gonna play the Earthquake to kind of guarantee myself some damage. And even though we have a very good matchup, this situation definitely is not bad, because all my opponent has to do is to kind of spell Cycle. I'm gonna play the ability to kind of knock everything back and get some extra damage on the tower, and we're pretty much already back into the game. Right now my opponent doesn't even have a huge advantage in spell cycle. If we get this, okay, we don't get a Hog hit, but we should be trying to get a Firecracker hit just like that. And we're gonna play the Mighty Miner as well, trying to kinda get something done here. I'm gonna play the Hog Rider to kinda make him spend on defense as well. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner right here. Unfortunately he gets a very good Tornado, and okay, and the bowler is on the tower for whatever reason. The bowler was on the tower, even though I played the Mighty Miner in the most greedy position. So yeah, it sucks. I probably should have been playing on the opposite side, but right now this matchup definitely is way harder, because even though technically he also doesn't have the 3-card cycle anymore, because the Golden Knight doesn't have a 3-card cycle, it can be played on the map. Actually, I think Golden Knight not being a 3-card cycle more benefits him than me, because I don't want to cycle to multiple Mighty Miners anyway, and he wants to cycle to multiple Golden Knights as they give him more opportunities to kinda get this magical dash that all Golden Knight players dream about. I'm gonna play the Skeletons now, trying to kinda direct his mini P.E.K.K.A away from my tower. I'm gonna continue kiting with the Hog Rider and stuff, and kinda try to get more damage. My opponent will try to eat this Hog Rider, and definitely a good start for us in this game right here. My opponent plays a Witch, which signifies pretty much nothing to me. I actually don't know what kind of deck is he playing, but he's gonna be playing Vines, which once again doesn't signify anything. We have to overcommit with Mighty Miner as well, so pretty much a very good trade for my opponent right here. But we're already in a very good damage situation, so I won't complain too much about that. As Mighty Miner doesn't bring the 3-card cycle anymore, I'm gonna just cycle ability. I want to keep the Skeletons for his mini P.E.K.K.A, and I'm gonna actually leak Elixir at this point, kinda waiting for my opponent to go into me, not the other way around, because obviously we're in such a lead that we don't really need to go in. My opponent plays Sparky, which, as a play, I don't expect him to run the Sparky, but it is what this. He's gonna be running it with Goblin Giant as well, so that's gonna be an interesting defense. We're gonna try to get a Skeletons to tank for that. I'm gonna also get the Mighty Miner to tank one Sparky shot, and I'm gonna get the Ice Spirit as well. My opponent tries to cheese in a hit. I think I can grid this defense because there's no way he mirrors Divines, so that's gonna be definitely good. And I expect that my opponent will be playing Sparky on the weak lane. No, he's gonna be playing Sparky on the strong lane, so he literally waited for me. That's a very interesting call. I'm gonna play the Firecracker in the back, and that can very quickly backfire now that I think about it, because he gets a very nice Vines value. I'm gonna protect this Firecracker till I can. Gonna drop the Earthquake as well. Gonna try to get as much damage on my... on his Sparky as is physically possible. But right now I have to kinda eat one shot from the Sparky. I actually will lose this game, wow. Yeah, I'm gonna just give him GG because I got overwhelmed in a very... in a very scary attack from my opponent. Yeah, I definitely underestimated the push on the right side. I played the Firecracker kinda to defend it, and then I didn't remember that my opponent has Vines, which is something that I should be remembering because it's actually a very common card to have these days in Ultimate Champion. Most of Hog decks actually also evolved to play Vines or Lightning instead of Earthquake, but I'm sticking with this version because Hog Earthquake as an archetype will be consistently better than these gimmicky Hog variations. They're better in this meta because of the circumstances, but usually, per se, you're gonna be better off with upgrading the Earthquake over... over Lightning if you want to play exclusively Hog Cycle. And my opponent will get a very lucky Fire Spirit right here. I tried to block it with Ice Spirit, didn't happen. I tried to log it, didn't happen. Yeah, my opponent gets a very good early game and he's gonna get a King Tower up. So pretty much the perfect early game for my opponent. Very sucks to see. My opponent already starts BMing me, but I'm gonna get the King Tower activation back. Trying to get some things. I'm gonna get the Earthquake down against the Goblin Hut, trying to get a Hog hit, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Unfortunately, it's not. I'm gonna have to play against the Furnace, which, once again, sucks a lot because the Furnace is just better in this matchup. Firecracker will be better at getting the direct damage on the tower, but Furnace will be better at keeping kinda troops at bay and trying to get better trades overall. So right now we're kinda on defense. I think I have to kinda... There we go. I have to play the cannon in the anti-EQ position to kinda bounce his Hog, and then we're gonna be playing the spell to kinda break through his building. We're not gonna even make it, so that's gonna very suck, because obviously we want to kinda get damage in order to get back into the game. And since we don't have the 3-card cycle option, this matchup will be even worse. So yeah, all I'm gonna say is gonna be very difficult for us to come back. My opponent plays Valkyrie, which is a very common card these days. I'm gonna actually play a normal cannon. He did expect me to defend with normal cannon, so it's pretty suspicious. I'm gonna play the log, kinda to fully kill the furnace, and I'm gonna commit to this Hog Rider, trying to get some things going. My opponent plays the Goblin Hut to defend once again, and right now I think I can afford the Mighty Miner. So I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner, of course, and my opponent probably will be tempted to go for Hog Cycle, but not, Hog at the bridge, but not before cycling the Furnace. I'm gonna right now play the Skeletons to push the Hog, very common trick that pretty much makes this matchup playable and makes that this matchup is won by the better player and not by someone who spams Hogs faster. I'm gonna play the Earthquake against the Goblin Hut, once again trying to break through, and right now I'm gonna actually get a break, which is super cool. I'm gonna get the cannon right here, and I'm gonna get the Ice Spirit right here. I'm gonna get the Skeleton as well to push the Hog, and my opponent once again gets the Earthquake on the tower, but not on the cannon, so we are able to kinda keep it alive for longer. My Hog will actually break through, kinda. I'm gonna try to protect the Firecracker, and I'm gonna try to cycle to the next Hog Rider very quickly. My opponent will actually play the Valkyrie to defend that, which is super good play for him. Yeah, right now we're gonna try to push another Hog Rider, this time with the log, because we didn't have the cheap card, and we missed the Earthquake on the tower. That's actually a very bad play from us. We're gonna play the Hog Rider on offense to kinda make this mistake less punishing. And right now I think I have to fight at the bridge. I'm gonna play the Firecracker to make make the bridge fight more intense. Okay, my opponent plays the Goblin Hut right here. I'm gonna push this Hog Rider once again. Like I keep saying, pretty much the trick to win this matchup will be these Hog bounces. And my opponent gets another Hog, which super sucks for me. He gets a bad Earthquake though. I'm gonna play the Earthquake myself. I'm gonna get the Firecracker down. Hope something happens, but nothing happens. Okay. GG, my opponent played this matchup pretty well after the initial bad trade of the Furnace. Kinda was forced to play a very downhill battle. I don't think actually I can play opposite lane in this matchup, but probably should have tried it at least once. Yeah. So we're gonna unfortunately get another loss. We're gonna play the next one, and this one will be against a Darker Duchess, which is considered a very weak tower troop. But I think good players still can make it work in some scenarios. I'm gonna get a very expensive counter against Bandit Wallbreakers, because unfortunately I didn't have the lock on hand. I'm gonna try to get a bomb against these minions to get +2 trade, and right now I think we're still behind 1 or 2 elixir, but we're not in a very bad poison. Okay, we're down exactly 1 elixir because he's playing Prince in the back. Most likely he's gonna follow it up with a Mega Knight in front, because that's pretty much how this matchup goes. My opponent will be probably playing Zap here, there we go. And we're not gonna get a kite. Wow, that's a very unfortunate day for us to not get any interactions. Mighty Miner will clean up the bandit though, so I'm not too disappointed. Obviously I am disappointed because my reaction time was absolutely horrendous, and I should have predicted that he's gonna play the zap on my skeletons, but it is what it is. I'm gonna actually right now try to get the Hog on his tower, because right now he played these wallies while being very low on elixir, so I think I have to be kinda taking advantage of that. My opponent will be eating some damage. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner right here against this Prince, trying to... Okay, my opponent obviously will try to cheese me. I'm gonna play the Ice Spirit as well, and right now I think I have to eat the Bandit or Wallies that he's gonna play. Yeah, he's gonna in fact play both, which super sucks. I'm gonna play the Cannon to get even one shot on the bandit and pretty much make me not dead. Okay, I actually don't hate this position because in the later stages of the game I am the player that can guarantee damage if I defend well, and he's gonna be having some troubles with that. So like I've said, I don't hate this position, but obviously it's not the best one. I'm gonna play the log to kinda stop the prince in his tracks. Very good interaction to remember. I'm gonna play the firecracker here to kinda bait out his arrows. Kinda unfortunate that I had to do that. In fact, I don't think I even had to do that, so it was pretty huge mistake on my part. I'm gonna play the cannon to kinda bait out ability like that, and I'm gonna right now try to defend this push. Get the ice spirit like that, get the mighty miner like that, and right now I have to pretty much kite every single troop that I own right here. I have to eat the prince charge as well, and right now I'm gonna pretty much hold this tower. Yeah, that was a very rough defense, but we've managed to pull through, and right now it's gonna get very nervous. I'm gonna play the mighty miner in the back because obviously he cannot play arrows on that. I'm gonna play the hog rider on the opposite side, try to predict something with the firecracker, and we get a prediction against the minions, which will be super cool. I'm gonna pop the ability to kind of force out his ability and to kill the bandit. Very nice. I'm gonna play this right in here, and my archer queen actually is locked onto the tower, which super sucks. Yeah, I didn't calculate for that. I thought the archer queen will be baited out on the mighty miner, but apparently something went wrong in this defense. So once again, a bit of a skill issue on my part. We're gonna hop on to the next game against Guillermo 2002. So yeah, I'm gonna cycle the ice spirit first play, normal stuff. And my opponent will be playing pigs, which is definitely not a good matchup for me, but I think it's playable-ish. Obviously, I don't have the cannon as the first card, so I'm gonna slip, like, I'm not gonna catch all of the pigs. And my opponent is playing royal recruits, which... Oh boy, I didn't recognize this matchup. I thought my opponent will be playing a pigs cycle, which is, yeah, which is what I've expected. So it's gonna be a bit more rough from this position. We have to eat this flying machine damage, but we get a lot of damage from the hog rider in the first place, so I think it's not gonna be too bad of a start. Obviously in this matchup our main card that we want to kinda pay attention to will be an Evo Cannon, because Evo Cannon pretty much deals well with every single troop that he can play on the board. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner to kinda cover the damage from this Bear Barrel, which might not have been the best play, but honestly, I digress. I'm gonna play the cannon right now to kinda... Okay, obviously my opponent will be playing the arrows on that, so not too surprised by seeing that. I'm gonna take a lot of damage from this good pick split. I think right now I have to kinda make some kind of play, because obviously he doesn't have arrows, so probably my firecracker is kind of immortal. I'm gonna go for the firecracker right here. I hope this mighty miner will kill the goblin brawler. I'm gonna play the skeletons to protect that, and unfortunately I don't get the protection on the firecracker, so this sequence very sucked. Yeah, it's gonna be a very difficult matchup because my opponent is just playing very patiently. I'm gonna play Hog to kinda force out the Goblin Cage. Okay, he's not even playing Goblin Cage. I'm gonna play the Firecracker, and unfortunately this matchup once again will be more difficult because I don't have the access to the 3-card cycle anymore. I'm gonna pop the ability to kinda force out the recruit's shields, as well as get some damage on the tower directly. I'm gonna pop the Earthquake right here, and I'm gonna get the Firecracker at the bridge because obviously my opponent will have to play something on that. I'm gonna play the cannon to kinda protect those. Okay, these pigs will get a lot of damage though, so I have to pretty much be careful about that. I'm gonna play the hog with the firecracker, and I'm gonna play the earthquake to kinda save my hog, or at least anything that is left from it. I'm gonna pop the ability here, And right now we have to kinda... Okay, I said we have to defend the cannon, but apparently it's impossible to do, so yeah, pretty weird. We're gonna eat the Goblin Brawler's hit. Wow, he gets 3 hits. That's actually super bad. And yeah, right now we're in a very huge predicament. I'm gonna play the Evo Cannon right here, kinda damaging everything in its tracks. I'm gonna play the Log as well, trying to get a freeze on the flank machine. And right now we're gonna just try to survive. My opponent already is in a fireball range, and unfortunately we're gonna be taking an L right here as well. My opponent even goes for some kind of BM push, playing the spells on the side where he shouldn't have been. I'm gonna obviously fight till the very end, because if you're not in a very lost position, you can at least try to do that. My opponent is already back to Zapis though, and to DD Cage, and he's gonna play the arrows because he's not taking any risks. And fair enough for him, I wasn't in a shot to win this game. My opponent showed a very bad mannerism in this matchup, kinda not ending this game immediately, but at the same time, he pretty much could have ended this game at any point he wanted. He had 3 counters against the Firecracker, and usually one counter already makes it hard. I'm not gonna complain too much about this matchup because I've seen best players kinda winning that, but obviously not the best matchup for us to play, since pretty much we have to get a shot from the Firecracker, because if we just play it in the back and cycle like we would usually to kinda get out cycle in most matchups, we are literally getting an even trade, and my opponent gets the free damage. So that's pretty much the mathematics behind that. I'm gonna play the Ice Spirit here. Okay, and my opponent is playing the Executioner, which is a very interesting pick, with the Boss Bandit and Barbarrel. So I assume my opponent is playing the Exe Bridge Spam. So Exe Bridge Spam will be our matchup once again. I'm actually very happy to face that, because single elixir will be pretty much the free roam for us. We can pretty much do in single whatever we want. Later stages of the game will be more difficult, but we don't have to worry about it too much. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner here. My opponent will be playing ability. I'm gonna try to absorb the Boss Bandit for a longer time in place. And right now, yeah, my opponent will be getting a lot of job because of his Boss Bandit. Yeah, I'm gonna get right now... my opponent will get a lot of damage, so it kinda sucks. And right now he's pretty much pouncing on the advantage that he doesn't have, so very interesting play. He even gets the snowball on the Firecracker, but like, honestly he got away with that, so I'm not blaming him for that. I think my biggest mistake was wasting the Ice Spirit trying to protect the Mighty Miner. I think my play should be to kinda let go of this Mighty Miner and focus on the defense later on. Right now my opponent obviously will easily defend this Hog. I'm gonna play the Firecracker, kinda cycle it here. And right now I'm gonna just protect this cannon. I don't think my opponent can easily... Okay, my opponent can get a lot of damage on the opposite side with the Berserker. I still am not very comfortable with how much Berserker does damage to a stray Berserker, nothing interrupting her, so I have to be very careful about that. I'm gonna play the Skeletons here. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner here as well. I really hope... Okay, this is not looking good. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Not the perfect scenario. We're gonna have to get some kind of earthquake, and my opponent will be... Okay, the Firecracker actually takes it out, so that's gonna be pretty good. Unfortunately, Mighty Miner doesn't allow us to get a 3-card cycle, so we won't be able to make some crazy play. But I think this game is still very winnable. I'm gonna actually get right now the Log and the Earthquake to kind of predict the guards. I'm gonna get one more hit from the Firecracker, which is super cool. And then we're gonna get these skeletons to kinda DPS this boss bandit. I'm gonna get the Mighty Miner on that. And right now we're in a very good spot. I'm gonna try to get the cannon outside of the lightning range, and I do. I'm gonna actually play the Mighty Miner here to kind of predict the guards, or at least predict something. And we get a prediction on the guards, and we're gonna get a firecracker hit and the earthquake, and we're gonna win the game. So I would say, like I've said, a very good matchup for us, because at the end of the day, my opponent doesn't have a very good counter to a firecracker, so we can just keep stacking them on the board and get infinite value. But at the same time, we have to be very wary of his boss bandit, because like you've seen, it can get very messy very quickly with her. My opponent knew how to kind of pounce on the advantage, and he absolutely exploited that in single elixir, which I consider still a very advantageous stage of the game for me, because in single my opponent cannot start throwing lightnings, but yet he still found some way of kind of making it interesting. I'm gonna play skeletons here to kind of split the baby dragon's shots. Gonna eat one shot on the baby dragon, not too bad. I'm gonna play Ice Spirit to kinda absorb the Hog hit. I think I'm gonna just play Mighty Miner here, Firecracker. My opponent shouldn't be fast enough to... hello? Hello, okay. Okay, okay, hello? Wait, Firecracker doesn't die. Okay, the Firecracker didn't die from vines, which is something that I'm super surprised of. I'm gonna pop the bomb on the tower, because honestly, why not? I already have the Mighty Miner, because per se, the champions don't give the 3-card cycle anymore. They are cycled like a normal card. That's why we're gonna be able to get another Mighty Miner this quickly. I'm gonna play the Can against the Furnace, one of the better counters, unless your opponent has some kind of cheesy spell to deal with that. Usually the Can will be the best response in your deck against the against the okay, he missed the vines against the Furnace. Okay, Firecracker gets a cleanup on defense, which is super cool, but right now we spent a lot of cash for that. My opponent messes up the activation though, so it's gonna be a very good news for us. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner on defense, kinda kite the baby dragon, shouldn't be too big of a deal. My opponent plays the Furnace into the Mighty Miner though, so we're gonna try to get something done. Unfortunately, my opponent gets a very good Goblin Machine, so we have to kinda stop it in its tracks. I'm gonna play the Ice Spirit against that. I'm gonna play the Skeletons against this mini P.E.K.K.A. My opponent gets a lot of damage on the opposite side though, and he catches the Firecracker, which is super depressing, because I thought I have this game in wraps, but apparently it is not the case. I'm gonna go for the very offensive Evo Cannon to wipe out the minions. And at this point, it's pretty much the kind of a base race. I'm gonna let this Goblin Machine go, and I'm gonna play the Ice Spirit to freeze everything, stall it in its place, and right now we're gonna just go in. I'm gonna play the Hog Rider. My opponent played a very aggressive Baby Dragon, which did nothing, and we're gonna just take the win. And I think, actually, I pretty much won this game, because his vines didn't kill the Firecracker at all, so I would say a pretty lucky win for me. Yeah, he has a underlevel vines, probably his boost has run out, so that's why he wasn't able to kill our Firecrackers. I would say very unfortunate matchup for my opponent, because even if he had vines enough to kill the Firecracker, it still would be very difficult. But once again, we had this very weird moment where our Firecracker didn't get a shot at all in the first exchange, which I didn't really like, because I think the Firecracker should have been able to shoot. Okay, right now my opponent gets a very good exchange, because he kinda trades the Firecracker for Firecracker, gets the damage, cycles the Evo. Not too shabby. At least for him, okay. It's not too good of a trade for me. I'm gonna play the Hog Rider, and unfortunately he gets the bounce, which is very annoying. His Tesla will pretty much go down, but it's gonna still require my Mighty Miner to kind of sacrifice his life for that. So pretty sucks. My opponent goes for the X-Bow though, which is something that I didn't expect him to have. I'm gonna play the Skeletons. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner as well. I'm gonna go back to another Earthquake, because I really expected my opponent to be running a Hog Cycle. He runs the X-Bow though, so we have to kinda have some respect to that play as well. I'm gonna play the Firecracker and kinda sacrifice it for the greater good. You were great, but it's not gonna happen this game. And my opponent will be cycling to another X-Bow. There we go. I'm gonna try to get a lockdown. Okay, I didn't play the Skeletons for some reason. Okay, cool. We'll have to play the Earthquake on that. And I didn't get the damage, so yeah, right now I'm very distracted. I have to kind of lock in. My opponent is playing E-Spirit, and I'm gonna actually take the King Tower activation. Oh, I had a King Tower. Okay, I'm really distracted in this game. I have to tap in, because X-Bow games are not easy. Even though technically speaking you have the Earthquake for every X-Bow, it's still very easy to kind of lose this matchup. My opponent is playing the Firecracker against that. I'm gonna get the Firecracker against his Firecracker. And right now, he pretty much won this bridge fight, which is super brutal. I'm gonna cycle the log right here. I'm gonna play another Mighty Miner. My opponent is trying to get away with a crime once again. Probably will though, because I don't... Okay. And he blocks another Firecracker, which is super smart play from him. He will miss a log though, which is a super good news for me. I'm gonna right now start kind of playing on this advantage, trying to get something done, and I'm gonna just pop the ability, play the pop the ability with Mighty Miner to the other side, make something happen, and my opponent is forced out to play a very uncomfy Fireball on defense. And right now we are definitely in the driver's seat. Even though we are still behind some damage, I think it's the pretty position that we want. My opponent will get a Firecracker though. He's gonna block his Firecracker with Skeletons, but it is what it is. I'm gonna play the Earthquake to kinda force out his Tesla to be played in a very uncomfortable position. I'm gonna play another log, because there's a very good chance that Spark will hit it. And right now we just have to keep attacking, I think. I'm gonna play... Yeah, we're gonna play the Earthquake against this Tesla, and unfortunately it doesn't reach, so very interesting. My Firecracker will not connect, so yeah, my opponent definitely very attentive to that. And he throws down a first Fireball, so definitely not too good of a position for us, but we have to keep trying. I'm gonna drop a Skeletons to kind of predict that. My opponent will get a read on my Firecracker, which is super bad. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner as well. And this Evo Tesla is super annoying when it stays alive. I'm gonna play another Earthquake. I don't even expect for it to connect to the tower. At this point, I just have to keep cycling cards. I can even eat some damage from here. Gonna play the Earthquake to kill the Firecracker. And yeah, right now we just have to get some damage. Now we'll get some Firecracker connection. At least I wish we get. I'm gonna play the Earthquake against that, and that's gonna be a very good exchange-ish. Get another Hog, get another EQ. We're gonna get another Firecracker at the bridge. And Earthquake, potentially? Okay, we are too slow, so I would say my opponent play a very good X-Bow game. Now he's gonna BM, obviously he will, and yeah. Like I've said, it all comes down to one mistake, and pretty much the mistake I think that happened in this game was that I didn't play the Skeletons on time because I played some different card, which is a huge mistake against X-Bow. You have to always be able to kinda catch the Skeletons, I mean catch the X-Bow with a troop. And also obviously I set up against a wrong deck, so I would say not too bad. I'm gonna play the Hog Rider first play. My opponent is already showing me some signs of him playing the fun balloon deck, 2.9 cycle, stuff like that. so we're gonna set up accordingly. He's playing Miner to kind of get some chip, and unfortunately we're not gonna be able to punish it in any way because we just have to defend normally, and he's gonna be playing Ice Golem. Yeah, that's gonna be the rough part of this matchup, where we pretty much cannot punish his greedy plays, but we still have to play into them. I'm gonna play the Earthquake to kind of break this Bomb Tower because I know he has to spend more on that. Unfortunately, he's gonna even get a King Tower activation, so a very good exchange for him. Mighty Miner won't even get his ability. We're gonna get Elixir back, but I really wanted this ability damage because obviously the Mighty Miner ability on the tower is, I believe, even worth more than the Hog hit, so I would say a pretty good thing to have. My opponent plays the Musketeer in the back, which is obviously a very natural play. We're gonna play the Skeletons to protect the Firecracker. We will fail at that big time. My opponent will play Barbaro to kind of protect his mask. Very smart play. We're gonna play the Log to kind of defend everything. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner, and at this point, my opponent will try to cheese in something, so I'm gonna try to prevent him from doing so. We're gonna block the Evo Musketeer with our Skeletons, which will be a very good thing to have. Hello? Okay, I have no idea how these Evo Skeletons survived, but apparently they did. And my opponent actually helps my Firecrackers to survive, so right now we really have to pounce on this advantage as much as we can. I'm gonna play the Firecracker as well. Unfortunately, we don't have the 3-card cycle because Mighty Miner doesn't give one anymore, so the outcycling won't be as helpful as before. Okay, I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner to kinda catch the Musketeer, and right now we just have to get very aggressive. We're gonna play Earthquake against the Bomb Tower, standard stuff. Yeah, I really wish that a Hog Rider would get further, but like, my opponent's defenses are very on top, so it's gonna be very difficult. I'm gonna predict an Evo Muskie. Okay, I'm not gonna get any read here. I'm gonna actually protect the Musketeer for some time, which is cool. My opponent definitely gets a very good Evo Muskie here, kinda killing everything in his tracks. I'm gonna play EQ just blankly at this Musketeer. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner in the back, and yeah, at this point we just have to hold on. Okay. This is the interaction that happens very often. I'm gonna try to get the Mighty Miner ability to get the balloon off. Okay, so basically the mistake that I've made was that I've played Evo Cannon in the greediest position, but Evo Cannon actually doesn't push the balloon inside, it pushes it outside, and once again I got a very bad position in this matchup. So we're gonna try to get another game. Yeah, this video is getting very rough, but I'm gonna upload it anyway to kind of show you guys that the rough sessions happen as well, and you have to kind of learn how to deal with them. And yeah, that's gonna also be kind of a lesson for me how to deal with these rough scenarios. I'm gonna play the Log to kind of make sure I get rid of all of these Barbarians. I'm gonna get the cannon on them as well. Can very fulfilling very good role on defense right now. I'm gonna actually protect the cannon with the Skeletons, even though I technically don't have to do that. Like, it costs 1 elixir, so why not? And my opponent will be playing Egolem, so something that we haven't seen today. We're gonna play the Hog Rider on the opposite side to kind of split his elixir. He's gonna play minions, and I'm very tempted to just eat it because I don't think I have resources to defend that. My opponent will get a very good arrows against the Firecracker, so I have to kind of pay attention to that. We're gonna get a kill against the Goblin Machine, and I think I'm gonna just go for the Firecracker on these blobs. I'm gonna go for the Hog Rider to kinda capitalize on my Evo Firecracker. My opponent probably will play Evo Barbs on top of the Firecracker, because that was how Egolem players play. Okay, he actually won't do that. Interesting. I'm gonna go for Evo Cannon on top of the Furnace. I'm gonna go for the Mighty Miner right here as well. I'm gonna play the skeletons to damage out the Egolem, and the Mighty Miner's ability will clean everything up. So that was a very good sequence for us. Pretty much everything came down in its place. My opponent was definitely betting on that I'm gonna be too late on Mighty Miner's ability, but I was pretty aware of what was happening. I was locked in and we managed to get a very nice defense. I'm gonna set up another cannon because right now the game definitely isn't over. My opponent still can come back and I have to still be very careful about that. I'm gonna play skeletons in the back, firecracker as well, and my opponent pretty much starts to cycle a push on one side, so I'm gonna just start spelling it, try to get some value this way. I'm gonna play a Mighty Miner's ability, and I'm gonna get another log, which, if I recall correctly, should be enough, yes sir, to kill the Evo Furnace. And at this point, I think we just have to start so-called spamming. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner ability to kinda kill off the Evo Barbs. I'm gonna get a very good log against these Elixir Golem blobs. And right now we're in a very good spot. We have to play a couple of more cards to kind of secure the win, and we're gonna beat a very scary Egolem player. I actually am very skeptical why did he choose to play Barbs over any better evolution, but he had Evo Furnace, which already made it kind of annoying, because obviously you cannot go ever into the Evo Furnace. If you do and you don't have like a good response against it, you will die. That's why you have to be very patient against it at all times. I'm gonna send a good luck to hopefully the last opponent of our video. I'm gonna start off with the Ice Spirit. As the Hog Cycle player, you usually will try to go in aggressively in single elixir to mostly recognize the matchup, and I already have recognized the matchup. It's gonna be one of the worst matchups possible. It's gonna be the RG. But I think since the 3-card cycle no more applies, it's gonna be actually a better matchup for us, because it's one of these rare matchups where we want a Mighty Miner as a troop and not just as a 3-card cycle mechanism. So I think it's gonna be pretty decent. I'm gonna play the log right here. I'm gonna play the skeletons. I really hope I get rid of this ghost pretty quickly. In fact, I'm gonna just play a Spirit and Cannon right here to kinda stop the RG in its tracks. And for another RG we have Mighty Miner and Skeletons, so he doesn't have the Fishboy for that. And I think already we're in a very good spot. My opponent tries to get another King Tower activation. Okay, whatever. I don't really mind that. And at this point we have to be very careful, because my opponent still can go RG opposite lane. He probably will try to do that. I'm gonna go for Mighty Miner into that. My opponent already having some naughty intentions. I'm gonna play Skeletons to activate the King Tower, and I'm gonna play the ability on the opposite side to catch his Royal Ghost, and I'm gonna play the Cannon here as well. I'm gonna play the Log right now at the perfect moment to kind of reset the Royal Giant, and then Firecracker will clean up everything else, and we're in a very good position against this Royal Giant Ghost player. We're gonna get these skeletons and Firecracker won't get anything done, but honestly, it's a very good position for us to play. I'm gonna sacrifice the skeletons, and I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner into the Royal Ghost. Pretty much the thing that you want to be going for. I'm gonna play the Firecracker into the Royal Giant, and soon I think we have to kinda start making our offenses as well. Okay, there we go. He's going for the Fisherman on the Mighty Miner, which will pretty much hurt him in the long run, because right now he has to still deal with these Firecrackers. I'm gonna actually play the Log on this Hunter, trying to get something done. I think this cannon will be sufficient though in countering Hunter. Okay, it won't. It won't. It's still very fine. I don't think this Hunter will get anything in going. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner against his Ghost, which is definitely a good play. Right now he's playing Lightning, which is super aggressive, and I absolutely don't agree with that. I'm gonna block my Hog Rider with these Skeletons. And right now we're gonna be pretty much in a very good position. I'm gonna play these Skeletons to distract the Fisherman once more. And right now Fisherman can pull the Mighty Miner. I actually agree with that. because it's gonna actually benefit us. I'm gonna play the Firecracker to kinda kite the Roll Ghost. I'm gonna play the Ice Spirit to make the Roll Ghost disappear quicker. And right now we're in a very good position. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner here. I'm gonna play the cannon here. And at this point, I would say we're in a pretty bad position, but we can make it good. Okay, this cannon will survive though, so it's definitely a very good position. I'm gonna go for the Hog Rider blindly and expect him to play a Hunter on that. And there we go. He plays the Fish Boy to kind of block the Firecracker, but we forced out a Fish Boy up high. So that's gonna be a very good sign. My opponent is going full in, so I have to be super careful about what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna actually play the Ice Spirit to kinda minimize the damage from this RG. I'm gonna probably... Okay, I'm not gonna pop the bomb because I was... Oh, because the other Fingo other Fish Boy was having a crown. Yeah, that's one of the rare moments where you see the effect of the balance. I'm gonna actually have to now lock in on defense because it's gonna be super difficult. I have to play the log as well. And there we go. Okay, we defended that very well. I'm gonna right now play the Hog with that. My opponent definitely happy to kinda get some Fishboy action, but it's gonna be a bit too late. I'm gonna get the Ice Spirit, and he's gonna actually predict it, but his lightning came down too late, and we're gonna get a defense. So I would say very stressful game to end this video, but we've managed to beat the Royal Giant. I would say pretty much just because the Mighty Miner doesn't provide the 3-card cycle anymore. Because like in most matchups, we actually want the Mighty Miner to kind of stay away from the action and just provide the 3-card cycle, sometimes use his ability. But against Royal Giant, we really need this damage, and like I've said, in this particular matchup, the Mighty Miners being able to get cycled like a normal card definitely was an advantage for us. So on this positive accent, we're gonna end today's video. Like I said, we're gonna be doing a double upload today, and it's gonna be the second video of the series. We tilted a bit of trophies, but I'm gonna get them back on this Hog account. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. Obviously, I've made some mistakes, but I try to explain them live so you can learn from them and apply actually good plays that I've made in this video into your gameplay. So yeah, thanks for watching once again, and I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Peace.